Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday morning, and welcome to this Specialist Trading educational presentation. Now, today I'd like to talk to you about how the market is always speaking. Whether you know it or not, it's always speaking to you in its language about what it wants to do and which direction it wants to go. And I'm going to tell you today about a new course we have that actually will teach you how to listen so that you really don't have to rely on anything else, such as a subjective outside source. How by simply using a few tools and making actually your trading much more simple, you can actually start learning how to listen. And this new course I'm going to be talking about today is called the PTS Primo Charts University. It's actually a university where I'll be teaching live classes and teaching you all how to understand how to listen to the market and understand basically what it wants to do. So let me just go into what I mean, because you've always heard me speaking about the market speaks another language. We simply have to learn how to listen. The only problem is we're always taught as traders to do the opposite. We're always taught to listen to some guy on TV. We're always taught to listen to some economic report. Or we're always taught to listen to the fundamentals or the institutions. Let me show you how this can actually simplify your trading tremendously. For example, looking back at this chart of the spiders. If you're not familiar with the spiders, they're the ETF that represents the S&P 500 index. Now, at the beginning of the year, the market was in a steady uptrend. Okay, and actually, every time we sold off, it was just a gimme that all you had to do was buy it because it was going to make new highs. For example, we kind of went sideways here, a little lower, and then made new highs. Then we had a sell-off here for a week or so, but then we made new highs again. Now, a couple of downward days here, and most traders were saying, well, this is going to happen again. We just have to look at this as a buying opportunity because it's probably most likely going to make new highs. But at this point, using our tools and learning how to listen to the market, you would have known that the market was actually telling you that this is a very strong warning. This was in mid to late February. In fact, if you go back to my Twitter page, I actually tweeted that the market was giving us a warning that most likely it wanted to go lower, and that this could be the beginning stage of a downward move. So at this point, we all know what happened coming into March. The market went down drastically. This is where a lot of traders lost money. They said, hey, how come it stopped working? Every time I bought, it went back up. So a lot of people lost a lot of money listening to the old things, listening to the economics, listening to the reports. And finally, when everyone turned around and said, okay, this is really a terrible market. In fact, people were talking about how it's going to be, the economics report, the jobless claims is going to be worse than we ever anticipated, and how some people were even talking about a depression. If you were learning to listen to the market, one of the tools that we share with you, and we're going to be sharing with you in the university, actually gave a strong warning that this downward move may be running out of steam at this point. And a week later, it gave a second warning that it was starting to actually lose a lot of momentum to the downside. And the next day, it gave a third and stronger warning that the momentum had just about dried up, even as the market was making new lows. This is what we mean by listening to the market, because we all know what happened after that. And the market has continued to go straight up. Now, if you were able to listen to the market the way we're going to be teaching you in this university, you could be able to figure out what may be happening right now. So this is going to be a great presentation. Once again, thank you so much for attending today. My name is Steven Primo. I am the president and founder of Specialist Trading. If you're new to our weekly webinars, we're all about educating you. And the reason why is because I've been trading for 43 years now, going on 44. And I started my career on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange. I was on the floor for a total of 16 years. 9 of those years I was a specialist. That's where we get the name Specialist Trading. A specialist is just someone who made markets in roughly about 50 or 60 stocks. You specialized in making a market. Doesn't mean you were any more special than anyone else, but it means if you wanted to buy or sell a particular stock, in those days what you would do is you call your broker on the phone. He in turn would take your order and then call the floor broker. The floor broker would say, okay, I guess this trader wants to buy or sell 100 shares of IBM. He then would walk up to the trader who specialized in making a market in IBM. Now, I did that on the floor. I made markets during the crash of 1987 and the bull market that followed. So I've traded just about every market environment you can think of. Straight down markets, straight up markets, sideways markets. Any system, any method, any brand new indicator you can think of, I've traded it. Most likely it's probably just been around before, just been rebranded. So in my 43 years of trading, I know what works in terms of consistency, and I know what doesn't. So why waste your time searching for that perfect system, that perfect method, that perfect indicator, when I know what works and I can share with you and not have to waste all your time searching for those perfect things, share with you the things that have shown to have consistency over time. So that's what we do. That's the education. That's the gap we fill. That's the service we provide for all of our students around the world. And I'm happy to say we now have students in over 115 countries and in virtually every state in the United States trading our methods in some capacity. So we've educated a lot of people, and we've got a lot of testimonials and telling us for the very first time they've turned their trading around. Hopefully, we can do that for you in this new course I'm going to be teaching. Now, before we begin, as always, we are first required by law to share this with you, so please take a moment to view our disclaimer. I'm going to share with you a lot of performance results using this new university and using what we're going to be detailing in the university. A lot of different slides today, so please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the performance results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. And also please remember that all examples are strictly for educational purposes only. As you're taking a moment to view the disclaimer, if you're new to my webinars, I'd also like to take this time to invite each and every one of you to follow us on Twitter. There's our handle right there, abbreviation for Specialist Trading at SPCLST-TRADG. Lots of great free information, educational information, anywhere from little bits of financial wisdom to signals our strategies have generated to things that I have noticed that the market has spoken to me and that I've posted on Twitter, things that the market has actually posted, I should say, whispered to me and to a lot of our students, and I've posted this as well. So lots of great free education. Please feel free to follow us on Twitter. Now remember, as we said, our only goal at Specialist Trading is an educational company. And I'm happy to say we've educated students around the world. So if you've come here today thinking I'm going to be telling you what I think of the markets, before I started this presentation, I was watching the markets. I know we've had a strong sell-off today. If you're thinking that I'm going to be telling you what the market means to me and what my prediction is, you've come to the wrong place. We don't make predictions. We never tell students what to buy or what to sell. We never tell you where the perfect time frame is or what the best market is. That's up to you to decide. Our job is simply to teach you how to trade with this edge, the same edge I was taught some 4 decades ago, so that you can make your own decisions. In my 43 years of trading, the only traders I've known who have lasted this long and who have stood the test of time are the ones that make their own decisions. None of these traders go to chat rooms to find out what they should buy or sell. None of them have signal services. In fact, the majority of them don't follow news. I stopped watching news 4 decades ago because those are all outside sources telling you. Remember, the only thing they've learned to listen to is the market, which is the same thing I listen to. I stopped listening to news. I don't look at earnings reports. I don't go to blogs to find out what anyone else is doing. I only focus on one thing. That's the chart in front of me because that's telling me what it wants to do. And that's basically the format for this new course. We want you to learn how to listen to the market so that ultimately you can make your own trading decision. Now, since this is going to be a classroom today, it won't be that long because we're basically going to be talking about the university. It will be a rather short presentation today, but please, even so, if you have any questions, kindly wait till the end. I promise I'll get to each and every one of your questions at the very end of class. The only question I will answer, once again, is the most popular, and that is this being recorded? Yes, it is. So if you have to leave early or if you're having technical issues, I see someone has already sent a question in saying, I can't hear the sound. Oftentimes, that is just your internet connection. So if you log off and then log back on again, many times that will be corrected. But if you're having difficulty seeing or hearing clearly, don't worry. We will send each and every one of you a link to this recording so that you can watch it at your own leisure, okay? So remember, any questions, please wait till the very end of class today. All right, with that stated, let us begin. And remember, the topic today is that the market is always speaking. And this new course will teach you how to listen, because think of it. We're always taught to listen to some guy on a blog. I remember when I was taught, firstly, I was supposed to look at all the earnings reports. I was supposed to listen to all the pundits on TV, okay? And we didn't have the internet then, but we had a lot of news subscription services, and I would listen to them. And yet I was always taught to listen to these outside sources, but it wasn't making me a dime. I was lucky enough to have some mentors who actually taught me how to listen to the market. And that's when my trading started to turn around. And then roughly 12 years ago, as many of you may know, I formed Specialist Trading with just one goal in mind, and that was to educate traders around the world. I teamed up with Pro Trader Strategies, and we began this simple process by presenting internet webinars. I'm sure many of you have seen my internet webinars, and if you're members of our courses, that's how you were taught, through our online courses. Now today, I'm happy to announce that we're taking that educational commitment to a new level with the creation of a new course that we call the PTS Primo Charting University. All right. Now you see, in the past, students were only able to absorb our trading education by watching a limited series of videos. That was really how you were able to learn from me. Once you became a member of our course, we would give you our online courses. You would study them at your own leisure. A lot of students were able to learn this way, but still, many of them had difficulty. So here's what we've done. What we've done now is taken over 4 decades of trading insight and research and transferred it onto a state-of-the-art platform. This is the PTS Primo Charting Platform I developed with Pro Trader Strategies. Now, we developed the PTS Primo Charting Platform to work seamlessly with our strategies and research in order to help members like you become and make the best possible investment decisions and trading decisions. So think of it. Years of trading methods that I've accumulated in my 43 years of trading, years of techniques, years of strategies, all at your fingertips with one click of the mouse whenever you want. This is the educational platform that teaches traders how to listen to the market. So what we've done is we've formulated these two things, our education along with our platform, which is like your personal mentor, and we seamlessly combine them into one to teach you how to listen to the markets. So who exactly is this course for? Well, it's designed for students who want to take full advantage of our well-rounded trading education while at the same time having access to a vehicle, that's our platform, that can implement that knowledge with one click of their mouse. So how will this course teach you how to listen to the market? Well, in order for students to learn how to properly implement what I'm going to be teaching in this information, I'll be giving a 5-week university course. This is going to be a live course where I'll go into detail explaining how to best maximize this material. So let's take a look now at what I'll be teaching in this 5-week live class. All right, week 1, we're going to be covering the core concepts of trading. This is where you start to learn that really the market has a language of its own, that you've never focused on it before, but it's actually simpler in this basic format than it is trying to figure out what the earnings are going to be, trying to figure out what the economic indicators are going to be saying, or trying to figure out what the institutions are doing. It's actually very simple. For example, let's look at this chart in Zoom, ZM. Now, most traders would look at this and what they've learned and say, well, Steve, I've learned how to listen to the market. I mean, just off what you're sharing here, it's making lower highs and lower lows. So obviously, we're in a downtrend. So I learned how to follow the market. Well, what we're going to be teaching you in the course would not have said we're in a downtrend. In all actuality, you are in an overall uptrend. So therefore, you would not have looked at this as something that's going to be going lower that maybe you should short or maybe you should avoid. But this was a buying opportunity because look what happened to the market. Now, see, when you learn how to listen to the market, this was an advantage that you have and that you could have taken advantage of this prior to the market going up. It works the same way on the downside. Most students would look at this and say, well, Steve, this is obviously going up. In fact, it's going straight up. And I bought right here because I went to that chat room. And this guy really liked that stock. He said it's going to go straight up. He said, you got to take advantage of this before it goes to the moon. Okay? So, according to your analysis, the way most students trade, you're in an uptrend. And sure, you could say, listen, I'm looking at the chart and it's making higher highs, higher lows. I mean, I'm listening to the chart the way you say. It's in an uptrend, right? Well, actually, no, it wasn't an uptrend. If you learn how to listen to the markets, the overall trend is down. So rather than buying right here when you think it's going to be taking off because you went to that chat room or that heard that blog, you could have taken advantage of that to sell or to get out of a position Because look what happened just weeks later. See, this is why most students fail. You're out of sync with the market because you don't learn how to listen to it. So this is how this can really, really help you. Now, that's what we're going to be covering in week 1, the core concepts. As we go into week 2, we're going to take it up a notch and we're going to be talking about the 2 types of trade setups, because there are only 2 types. I know many of you are thinking, how can there only be 2 types? I mean, I've bought maybe 5 or 6 different systems and you're telling me there's only 2 types of different setups? Yes, there are. If you break it down to the most common denominator, there are only 2 types. The difficulty with most students of mine is that you have to fall under one of those categories, one of those types. And mostly what happens with students is you're trading out of sync with that type. You think you're a type 1 trader when you're actually a type 2 and vice versa. For example, here are just one of the characteristics of a type 1 trader. Type 1 setups generate multiple signals. So if you're the type of trader who likes a lot of setups, then you should be a type 1 type of trader. And as you can see here, we will teach you how to identify these, but the platform automatically does this for you, just with one click of your mouse. Now, here's where most traders have a difficult time because they may think they want a lot of trades, but maybe you're a type 2 type of trader where you actually want fewer signals generated. So you should be looking at type 2 types of setups where you have a more finely tuned area to enter and you have less trades. You see, when you're out of sync with these 2 types of setups, that's where you usually fail. Because even though they may all be winners in their own right, if you're uncomfortable taking a lot of trades, you say, I can't take this many trades, you're not going to make money. You're going to second guess yourself and you're going to say, I can't trade this much. It feels uncomfortable. I feel, very risk oriented here and I don't want to be that way. Or the opposite side, you may say to yourself, I want a lot of action. I can't just go for 1 trade a month here. It doesn't feel comfortable. I like to get in and out quickly. I can't buy, even though this is a nice trade. I can't just sit here and say, well, I'm going to sit and hold on to it. I want to be trading in and out of the markets. So the real fault lies in most traders not knowing what type of trader they are. And so this falls into the 2 types, and we'll be teaching you all this and how to listen to the market and discover which type you are and to find out by looking at a setup which type it falls under. That's in week number 2. In week 3, we're going to go into really going into the core of detecting and finding out how strong a trend is. Now, most methods, most educators are always talking about trading with the trend, but usually their methods are a day late and $1 short. Think of it. How many times have you gotten into a trade right at the top? And you said, well, I finally found out, according to this method, we're in an uptrend, and I bought right at the top. Or maybe you sold right at the bottom, right? What you want is something that's able to detect the trend earlier than these other methods that you've learned. And on top of that, once you've gotten in, you want to know, is that trend going to continue or is it running out of gas? These are 2 very important things because even if you got into the trend early, what if you stayed too long? And then you gave away a lot of your profit. Well, here's what we're going to be talking about in week number 3, how to detect the early trend and then how to detect whether that trend is running out of gas or if it still has some more momentum left in it. These are extremely important things that you can only learn by listening to the market, not by listening to some economic report or some guy on TV, because the market will tell you when it's going to begin a trend, and the market will usually tell you when it's running out of steam in that trend. All right, let's look at this example here in Apple. Excuse me. Most traders would say, well, there's really not a lot of data here, Steve, but I took that $10,000 course on the candlesticks, and the candlesticks are usually reversal patterns. So this is telling me that this bearish engulfing pattern right here is telling me the trend is going to begin to the downside. So I want to get out of my long position. In fact, I want to go short. So Steve, I don't need your university to tell me when a trend is about to begin because the candlesticks tell me that, right? They are reversal patterns. So all I have to do is follow the reversal patterns of the candles, and I should know. Well, there's really not a lot of consistency in following candlestick patterns in their traditional sense. In fact, we teach candlestick strategies, but this is not one of the ways in which to do it. So where most traders would say, well, this is a reversal pattern, the trend is now going to be starting to the downside. This is the early downward movement. This is actually the beginning of an uptrend. And most of you would say, well, how would you know that? Well, just looking off these last 5 or 6 bars, two of the really, I would say, sensitive tools that look at the trend would have told you that this was the beginning of an uptrend, not the end of an uptrend. And as you can see, they were right. Why? Because we listened to the market. That's what told us that we were in the early stages of an uptrend. Okay. Now, let's say you were lucky enough to be in this uptrend. Let's say you purchased Apple and you were riding it, and you're saying to yourself, "Wow, I have a really nice profit here. How long should I stay in this?" You know, that's really a big problem for a lot of traders, because if they like to hold on as long as possible, you know, you don't want to be holding on to a nice profit and then have it diminish into a loss. Okay, so with another one of our proprietary tools that learns how to listen to the market, it actually would have told you the strength of the trend. Now, this is not 100% foolproof, but it is a tremendously powerful tool I developed with Pro Trader Strategies that has an uncanny ability to tell us if there's more move left in the trend or not. For example, most traders would say, well, okay, I think this market is really strong here, but it looks as if it's running out of steam. So I think we're overbought. I bought that really expensive indicator that tells me when stocks are overbought or oversold, so I want to get out of this, okay? Well, by using this tool that listens to the market, that is actually able to transfer what the market is saying, we would have known that this was not overbought at all. In all actuality, it was just a pause because there was more room left, there was more momentum left in the trend. So this is another great way of listening to the market. These translators that we have on our platform can show you this and teach you how to do this on your own. We're going to be covering all of this in week 3. And remember that example I shared with you at the beginning, looking at the spiders when the market was giving us signals. Well, this is the same tool of telling us when the momentum is drying up or whether it's strong. Now, at this point, at the first warning of the spiders, this tool that translates what the market wants to do was telling us the momentum is starting to dry up. It's not telling us that to buy everything, but it's just telling us it's starting to give us a little warning. A week later, the same tool translated that, well, we've got another warning here. So if you're short, you may want to think about taking a profit, or you may want to think about moving your stop down, because it's giving another warning that the momentum may be drying up. And on the next day, a third warning was given saying that this is screaming that there's really no more momentum left at the downside. You should be very careful. You may want to take profits, or may start thinking about going long, because we all know what happened after that. And remember, once again, this does not work just with momentum moves to the downside. It also can work with momentum moves to the upside. So you all wonder what this has recently been saying, because when I took this slide earlier this week, the market had still been going straight up, and we know what happened today. So what is this indicator saying? Is there still more momentum left to the upside, or is it over? Well, you would learn how to use this by listening to the market in our university. We're going to be covering this in detail in week number 3. Now, let's take it up a notch where we start to add structure, because all of these things are great for determining what the market wants to do, but then how do we trade it? We have to add structure in the form of one of my favorite strategies, and you've heard me talk about it before. This is one of the first methods I learned when I was struggling on the floor by my mentors, and this is strategy number 4. Now, we're not going to make this a black box. In our courses, you all know that what makes up a strategy signal. So we're going to teach you the same things. You're going to learn exactly what makes up a setup for strategy number 4. But think of it, now with the platform, you'll have your own personal mentor to check your work. This is where we take it up a notch, so that you'll see the importance of having the PTS Primo charting platform as your own personal mentor. It really is an educational tool to help you learn and check your work. Let me share with you how you'll be able to do that. Okay, so we're looking at Apple again. All right, so looking at hindsight, yeah, this went up, and sure, we would have loved to have bought this. Well, with strategy number 4, let's say you were studying what we were teaching you, and you think there actually is a signal here that you may have missed. So you just want to check your work. What you would do is click on strategy number 4 in the platform, and on the drop-down menu, here's how you check your work to see if you're learning how to properly identify this on your own. Because that's what we want to get you to. We want to get you to the point where you can identify this on your own. So the way you check your work and use this educational platform is to click on signal arrows. And let's say you had thought there was a buy signal somewhere around here. Once you clicked on the signal arrows, you could verify that. And yes, there was. So you're right. You're learning how to properly identify this because once again, we want to get you to the point where you learn how to listen to the market. It tells you what it wants to do, and then you can put some structure to it and find out where these setups are in the form of strategy number 4. Okay. Now, in the course, we teach you roughly about 6 different ways to enter. And let's say you wanted to confirm one of those ways, you would click on the confirmation tab, and then, as you can see, yes, that would be one of the ways right there, one tick above that setup bar. All right. So it's all one-click access. Everything is right there. Now, before this trade even took place, let's see if you wanted to take profits. Where would you exit? Well, we give you 7 different exit points in the course. If you wanted to see where one of them was on the platform, you would click on the range extension exit levels. And here it would automatically show you the 4 different levels that you could exit at with a profit. These are the high probability levels. By listening to the market, most likely the stock would go if it continued with an uptrend. And this is all given to you. You have access to this before you even entered the trade. Okay? Before any of this even happened, you would have known all this information. So this is where the platform really turns into a personal educational tool and teaches you all these things that you've been studying in the course, but you have now with one-click access and you can see on your own. You see, many of our students will take our courses and they'll say, okay, this is great information. I just don't really know how to access it or see it on the platform. This is what we're going to be going into detail with, okay? Now, in week 5, we're finally going to be talking about advanced money management techniques. Now, these are different money management techniques that you ever heard of. These are ways in which to really control your risk and ways in which to minimize your risk and ways in which to define, which the simplest way, the definition of money management, which is stop placement, okay? Once again, let me share with you how you can define that stop placement on the platform. One of the easiest ways, remember, we teach roughly about 7 different stop placements. One of the simplest stop placements, the most generic, is on the platform. All you have to do is click this on the drop-down menu, and you'll see it appear right here. So automatically, you'll know where this generic stop placement is, okay? This is just one of the 7 different stop placements we teach you in the course. Now, you can also use this as a way to track the trade. For example, here's another strategy number 4 setup in RCL on the way down. As we see here, all you have to do is click indicator settings. There would be your initial stop. And it worked out very well. Now, as we go lower and there are more signals generated and more ways to define them by using our tools, you can also click on indicator settings and just continue to monitor it all the way down. And this way, you would be tracking and staying in the trade longer. So there's different ways to use this, which we will be teaching you in the course. So there you have it. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I've just shared with you the bare minimum of what I'll be teaching you. There are many more advanced techniques in each week and advanced concepts and advanced methods in which to listen to the market in the 5-week class. I can't share all of them with you because I don't want to give away all of the information for people who are ready to become students of this course. But I've just shared with you just a tiny bit of information of what we'll be covering. And if any of this seems helpful to you, then you really want to take advantage of this. Stop making the same mistakes over and over again. Let's say you're like most traders, well, most likely you have a series of wins and you say to yourself, hey, I'm doing really well. I think I've finally, gotten over the hump and I'm starting to be consistent. And then you'll have a day like today where you give it all back, right? I know it's frustrating. I was there 43 years ago. It's extremely frustrating. And you say to yourself, gosh, I put in a lot of hard work, a lot of hard time and effort, and a lot of money, and I'm not seeing the results I thought I was promised. The PTS Primo Charting University can help you become a more efficient trader and can hopefully take you to the next level. You'll be getting all of our information, all of our resources, and you'll be able to learn on the platform exactly how to apply that information. Remember, in order to learn this, you have to become a student of the PTS Primo Charting University. This is what's really going to take you to the next level. Remember, what we've done is we've taken over 4 decades of trading insight and transferred it onto a state-of-the-art platform. We built the PTS Primo charts to work seamlessly with our strategies and research in order to help you become the best possible trader you can become. Now, let's break it down. If we were to offer you this information just individually, okay, all the information we're going to be offering in the 5-week course, it would be costing close to $20,000, all right? Don't worry, we've never offered a course that expensive. We're just saying that's the actual value of all the information you're going to be getting in this new university. So we're not going to charge you that. Don't worry. The standard price for the PTS Primo Chart University is $49.95. But we're going to be discounting that today. We're going to give you the early bird sign up because this is the very first presentation. We're going to drop it. You're going to save $500. We're going to drop it down to $44.95. But we also have some special bonuses. The first 100 members will receive 12 months of the PTS Primo Charts platform free, okay? So if you're not already a member of our platform, you'll get the first year free. There are also other bonuses included as well. I'm not going to go over all of them, but you can contact Pro Trader Strategies. So if you already have the platform, there are also some extra things, such as you'll be able to have access with private conversations with me just because you're a student of the PTS Primo Charting University. Okay, now remember, $44.95 is the early bird discount, but you can still be included in that with payment plans, okay? If you can't come up with $44.95, Pro Trader Strategies will have payment plans available for a limited time. So for a small deposit, not the $44.95, but a small deposit, you can still be up and running and become a member of this course. Remember, this is a 5-week live course. We're going to keep the class size small and intimate because we don't want to have, in the past, we've had courses like this where we've had hundreds of people and it's just too difficult to get the personal information across to you. We'd like to keep it a more intimate, smaller class size, so class is limited. Remember, as my mentors taught me when I was struggling some 4 decades ago, they said there really is a holy grail. There is a perfect trading method that generates amazing results. And you know what it is? It's called educating yourself. That really is the holy grail. The traders I know who have stood the test of time and who are still trading 30, 40, 50 years down the road are the ones who have educated themselves so that they can make their own trading decisions. This is the goal of the PTS Primo Charting University. Educating yourself, having a mentor there, and then having a vehicle to be able to transfer that knowledge so that you can see it right there in front of you. This is all what the university is about. So here's how to take advantage of this. Contact Pro Trader Strategies. I developed the course with them. I developed the platform with them, and they're in charge of all the discounts. They're in charge of all the payment plans. I would highly recommend giving them a call at 310-598-6677. If you're interested in a payment plan, they can put that together for you. If you're interested in getting more information, the link below will take you to the sign-up page, plus there's more information on that educational link right there. Now, I posted on the chat box the live link, so you can simply click that on in the chat box in the GoToWebinar column on the right, and that will take you to that, okay? Now, I'm going to leave this information up here. I said if you had any questions, now's the time to ask. We reserved the last portion. So anyone with any questions, please do not hesitate. Go to the question and answer box, type them in, and I would be more than happy to answer. Okay, someone is saying, I don't have the platform. Yes, you may have asked this question before. Yes, for those students who do not have the platform, you will be getting 12 months free, okay? This comes included with your purchase of the university. Now, if you do have the platform, there are some extra bonuses included. Contact Pro Trader Strategies. They're more than flexible. They would be happy to work with you if you already have the platform to include extra bonuses as well. They're just not going to leave you hanging there, okay? Someone's saying, when will these classes take place? Most likely they'll be starting somewhere in the next 2 to 3 weeks, most likely somewhere mid-July. So we'll be doing them around then, maybe mid to end July, just to make sure that we have. Sometimes if we want to keep the classes intimate, I actually will be having 2 different courses, in other words, 2 different sections. So one class maybe for 20 or 30 people, the next class for 20 or 30 people. So we want to keep it to a smaller size. So most likely it'll be somewhere to mid to end of July, okay? That's where we're starting to have this early bird. But remember, as we give these presentations and get closer to the cutoff point, most likely that early bird discount will be not included anymore, and it'll be $500 more. In fact, it may even be more, depending on how many people sign up. Someone's asked, does this work on other markets? Yes. One of the things I apologize for, I mainly focused on just trying to share with you these concepts, so I stuck to that one chart of Apple. But trust me, all of these concepts can be applied to any market and any time frame. I know we have a lot of currency pair traders. I know we also have a lot of E-mini traders, such as myself. I mainly trade the E-minis. And I use all these concepts, all these techniques and methods and strategies on those different markets. So yes, just because you saw the majority of examples on stocks today or ETFs, it doesn't mean that that's the only way it can be transferred. You can transfer this information and what I'll be teaching you on how to listen to any market and any time frame, okay? Is the stop placement setting new on part of an update? Yes, it is. This is brand new, so anything brand new on the platform, contact Pro Trader Strategies with questions about that because they're in charge of all the tech support. They're in charge of all the upgrades with the platform. But yes, it is a brand new feature we have, and it's just basically for the members of the course, I believe, who are going to be in the university. But contact them, Robert. They would be more than happy, okay? Yes, I think it'll be part of the new university update. So if you have any questions about that, and remember, that's just one of them. There are actually going to be 2 different stop placements on the new university update. I just shared with you one of them because once again, we don't want to give away everything, but that's just one of the different stop placements that we'll be sharing. We'll also be sharing with you some other new things that are part of the new university update, and I just don't want to go into detail with them, so people will reverse engineer them. But remember, these are all ways to design so that you can understand how to utilize this information, which we teach you in the course, and then have it right there, easy access, one click away on the platform. A lot of our students who, let's say, have taken strategy number 4 or strategy number 1, they're just used to using what basically is there in order to generate signals. They're not really familiar with a lot of the other gems and ways in which to apply what we have. We have just dozens of different ways in which to apply our information on the platform. So what we're doing right now is we're really giving this university to teach you what else is offered on our platform. We have tons of different information, and you can use this on even on your individual course, which you've already had so far. So it'll really help in taking you to the next level, okay? Any other questions? Good questions. Remember, yes, this will start somewhere towards mid to end of July. How long are the classes? Classes will usually be anywhere from a minimum of an hour to 2 or 3 hours. I have given courses in the past where they've gone close to 3 hours, but usually the minimum is roughly around an hour. What days of the week will they be held? Usually on Fridays. That's the basic format, but we're flexible. We'll be willing to change that date. We've had courses change to the weekend because because of the amount of students we've had. The weekend can be a better date for some people. We've had also many times these courses before the market open because we have a lot of European students that want to, and it fits with their hours. So it all depends on what the majority wants. We're very flexible about that. We'll start out by doing them on a Friday, midday, and then if that works out well, we'll keep that. If students want us to change, we'll change the time. Could be a weekend, could be Saturday or Sunday, could be before the opening, could be another date. It's entirely up to our students, okay? Okay, great classes. Will the class be recorded? Yes, it is. It will be recorded. All of our classes are recorded because we know that not everyone can make them. In the past, we've had students maybe come to a couple of classes and then something has happened. They can't come to all of them. Don't worry, we record all of the classes so that you can always watch them at your own leisure. Now also remember, you will also have access to me via my personal email. So even if you're not able to ask me questions in class, you will still be able to contact me via email. So if you're one of the students that isn't able to be in the class and you watch the recording, you have a question, you can contact me and I'll be there to answer the question, okay, as soon as possible. So we try to make it as simple as possible. And once again, we're going to give you tons of information on how to access everything that we have, formatted with our courses on the platform. Remember, it's for students who want to take their trading to the next level by learning how to access all of our information on the platform. It's also for students who already may be students of ours and already may have the platform. They just haven't really experimented with and discovered what we have available. And this will take their trading to the next level because now they'll say, wow, I never knew this was on the platform. I've had it for a couple of months now and I didn't know this was offered. So we're going to take your trading to the next level by sharing with you what is easily accessible on the platform. Everything is one click away. Okay, if there are no further questions, I just want to say thanks. I really hope that you saw that we're really trying to educate you. The market may be going through some different changes here. The only way to find out is learning how to listen to it, and that's what we're going to be teaching you in detail on this university in this special course. So as we take one last look at our disclaimer, I just want to say thank you for taking time out of your Wednesday to join us, and I look forward to all of you becoming students of mine in the new PTS Primo Chart University. Thank you so much for attending. I hope to see you in class. Bye-bye.